Welcome back to Lions News Fan Report, where we bring you the latest and most exciting sports news every single day. If you thought the Detroit Lions had already made their most impactful moves, think again. The first round of the NFL Draft was just the beginning, and now the attention shifts to what's coming next. The Lions were busy last night, securing a massive defensive force in Tyleik Williams, the standout defensive tackle from Ohio State. But as exciting as that pick was, it's what's about to happen on day 2 that has everyone buzzing. Brad Holmes, Detroit's general manager, made a particularly interesting comment after the first round that has left fans and analysts alike speculating. When asked about the Lions' plans for day 2, he said, "The good thing about this is there are still some really good players out there that are worth it. If I wake up with that feeling, and Dan Campbell has that same feeling, there's a chance we might get aggressive. Aggressive, what exactly does that mean? Could the Lions be eyeing another trade-up to grab a player who could change the defensive landscape of the team? It seems like there's more to come, and we might not be finished with the bold moves just yet. The question now is, who could the Lions target with the 60th pick in the second round, or the 102nd pick in the third round? The Lions are in an interesting position, with the chance to either add another immediate contributor or to get aggressive and move up the draft board to grab someone special. One name that stands out is Landon Jackson, the edge rusher from Arkansas. Standing at 6 feet 6 inches and weighing in at 264 pounds, Jackson has the physical tools to be an elite pass rusher in the NFL, and his potential to disrupt plays is what makes him so intriguing. Let's talk about Jackson's impact at Arkansas for a moment. In the 2023 season, he led the Razorbacks with 6.5 sacks and 9.5 tackles for loss. His stats show that he's not just about raw power. Jackson has the technique and agility to bend around the edge and finish plays. His speed off the line and relentless pursuit of the quarterback are qualities that can make a huge difference on a defense, and let's not forget that he's versatile, capable of lining up as a 4-3 defensive end or a 3-4 outside linebacker. This adaptability would make him an ideal fit in the Lions' defense, which under Aaron Glenn is all about creating pressure and making life difficult for opposing quarterbacks. But here's where things get even more interesting. Could the Lions actually move up in the draft to secure Jackson? If you look at the current draft board, Jackson is still a potential second-round talent, but there's always the chance he could slide to the third round. If he does, the Lions would have a unique opportunity to potentially steal a player of his caliber, but would they risk sitting back at pick 60 and hoping he falls? Or would they make a move to get ahead of other teams that could be eyeing him? The speculation surrounding this is intense, and there's a lot of buzz within the Lions community that Detroit might be preparing for an aggressive move. It's also worth noting that the Lions are not the only team that could be interested in Jackson as an edge rusher. With his size and ability, Jackson is a player that other teams, particularly those in need of a defensive overhaul, will have their eyes on as well. Could another team jump ahead of Detroit to scoop him up? If the Lions truly want Jackson, a trade-up might be necessary to ensure they're the ones who land him. With the 60th and 102nd picks, the Lions have the flexibility to maneuver, whether it's packaging those picks together or leveraging future draft capital to climb up the board. As the draft board continues to evolve and as teams finalize their strategies, one thing is becoming clearer. The Lions are serious about improving their defense. Adding Jackson to the mix alongside Aiden Hutchinson would create one of the most feared edge rushing duos in the NFL. Hutchinson's breakout year in 2023 showed just how impactful he can be when given support from the right players around him. Adding a talent like Jackson could elevate Hutchinson's game even more, giving the Lions an edge-rushing tandem capable of wreaking havoc on opposing quarterbacks. But what if Jackson isn't the only player the Lions are eyeing? The second round is filled with talent across all positions, and there are other edge rushers, defensive tackles, and even offensive weapons that could help Detroit immediately. However, Jackson is unique. He's that raw, powerful edge presence that the Lions could use to finish off their defensive rebuild. That's why many fans and analysts believe he's a strong possibility for Detroit. The Lions are already strong on the interior defensive line with Williams, McNeil, and others, but Jackson could bring that added explosiveness off the edge that they need. Let's not forget the leadership and toughness that Landon Jackson would bring to the Lions' defense. Dan Campbell has built a team culture centered around grit, toughness, and hard-hitting football. Jackson's motor never stops running, and that aligns perfectly with Campbell's vision. He's the kind of player who would fit right in with the Lions' mentality, always giving 100%, playing with passion, and refusing to take plays off. That kind of mentality can be contagious, and adding Jackson to the locker room could elevate the entire defensive unit's mindset. There's another layer to this, though. How does this fit into the long-term plans for the Lions? We know they're building a defense that can compete for years to come, but can they afford to wait for a player like Jackson? If they're serious about contending in the NFC North now and in the future, adding someone who can contribute immediately while also having room to grow is key. Jackson's ceiling is high, and if the Lions take a shot on him now, they could be set for a dominant defensive future. The Lions' decision to draft Jackson could also signal a shift in their defensive philosophy. We've seen how the NFL is trending toward a pass-heavy approach, and in order to keep up, teams need players who can disrupt the quarterback's rhythm. A dynamic edge rusher like Jackson could be just what the Lions need to finish what they started with Hutchinson and company. The question becomes, will they roll the dice and move up to secure him, or will they stay the course, keeping their options open as the draft unfolds? But here's the million-dollar question. Does Brad Holmes see this as the missing piece? Could Landon Jackson be the final piece of the puzzle that transforms the Lions' defense into one of the most feared units in the league? Or is he just another what-if that fans are talking about, only for the Lions to make a different move entirely? One thing that makes Jackson even more appealing is the depth of talent around him in this draft. While the second round offers some tantalizing prospects, there's a real chance that Jackson could be one of the last top-tier edge rushers left on the board. The Lions may feel that if they don't pull the trigger now, they could miss out on a generational talent who could be their pass rush solution for years to come. The clock is ticking, and the pressure is mounting to make a move. The more we think about it, the more it feels like Landon Jackson may just be too good for the Lions to pass up. Furthermore, the timing of Jackson's rise in the draft is significant. Some might argue that the first-round focus on offensive players could lead to a stronger defensive player like Jackson falling into the second round. In that case, the Lions could make the decision to stay put, choosing Jackson at 60 if he slips. The idea of a player falling to Detroit is tempting, and with the way the draft unfolds, the Lions may just get lucky. But what if they don't? Would Holmes be willing to trade up to ensure Jackson doesn't slip through their fingers? The mystery around this pick makes the waiting game even more nerve-wracking for Lions fans. We won't know for sure until Friday night, but you can bet your bottom dollar that Brad Holmes is weighing every option, and if the stars align, Jackson could very well be a Lion. Whether it's at 60 or through a trade-up, this is a situation worth keeping an eye on. But what do you think about all of this? Do you believe Landon Jackson is the missing piece that the Lions need to take their defense to the next level? Or are you leaning toward another player? The excitement around this draft is palpable, and I can't wait to see how everything plays out. For me, Jackson just feels like the right fit. His physicality and playmaking ability would be a huge asset to this team. I can't wait to read your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to Lions News Fan Report, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. The draft is far from over, and we'll be right here breaking it all down as it unfolds. Thanks for watching, and as always, one pride. Let's go Lions!